right, so we're continuing from yesterday, and we left off with the graphing. One thing I should tell you guys that wasn't in the notes yesterday, excuse me, when you guys see f of x equals the absolute value of x plus 2, that's the same thing essentially as y. F of x means that it's a function of x. So f of x and y are often used interchangeably. It's just f of x specifically means it's a function, whereas y equal to something might not be a function. So actually in this case it's not a function. So so when you see f of x, just think y when you see that, okay? All right, so for y equals the absolute value of x plus 2. Oh wait, this one is a function. I take that back. Okay. Anyway, we're going to plug in the same numbers we've been plugging in: -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So if I take the absolute value of -2 and add it to 2, what's the absolute value of -2? Positive 2, right? So 2 plus 2, it equals 4. So my point is -2, 4. All right, then when we do the next one, I take the absolute value of -1 plus 2. So that's 1 plus 2, which is 3, right? So -1, 3 would be my next point. All right, you guys figure out the other points and see what happens. Okay, so we got 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 4. And if we plot those points, 0, 2 is here, 1, 3, and 2, 4. So it's making a V. And it turns out that's what happens whenever you have an absolute value. So is this one actually a function? It is. I was wrong when I said it wasn't. Okay. And then let's look at the domain and the range. Is there a limit on how wide or it can go to the left or the right? No, it's infinite. That's what the arrows on the end mean, right? So the domain is just going to be all real numbers. But the range, is y ever going to be down here below the x-axis? No, it's always going to be getting bigger. So what's the smallest number that y is? A 2, right? So y is going to have to be greater than or equal to 2. And that would be your range on that one. Okay? So it turns out, yeah, whenever you have an absolute value graph, you're going to end up with a V. Or it could be an upside down V. Okay? But that's what they should always look like. So when you're plotting the graph, if you're not getting a V, either you're doing your math wrong or maybe you didn't choose the right numbers to put in and you have to find where the V, the bottom of the V is, okay? All right, we're going to do another one. We'll do f of x equals x squared minus 4. And so we're going to make an XY table. So it's up to you. I mean, you guys can make the table the way I've been doing it, or you can just make an XY table and do the work off on the side, and that works too. Okay? So I'm going to use the same numbers. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So why don't you guys fill out that table, see what you get. Well, let's do the first one together. If I square -2, what's going to happen? It becomes a positive 4, right? So 4 minus 4 is 0, okay? So you guys figure out the other 4. See what you get for that. Okay, so if I plug in a -1, Curtis, what am I going to get if I plug in a -1? How about -3? Yeah. Okay, and if I plug in a 0, Teresa, what am I going to get? -4, yes. And if I plug in a positive one, Sierra, what do I get?
1,
Get a -3 again. And when I put in a +2, Alexandra, what do I get?
0.
I get a 0. Okay, so when we plot those points, -2, 0, -1, -3, 0, -4, 1, -3, and 2, 0. Now it's making kind of a U shape. So whenever you graph an x squared graph, it should come out either to a U going upwards or a U going downwards. And let's talk about the domain and range on this one too. Okay, so is there a limit as to how wide it's going to get? Could it go infinitely? Yes, it can. So the domain is all real numbers. But the range, again, it's going up, so y is getting bigger, right? So y is going to have to be greater than or equal to whatever the lowest number is. So what's the lowest number on that graph? -4, right? So y has to be greater than or equal to -4. Okay? So you guys are going to be doing a variety of graphs tonight. Some will be lines. If the graph is just an x, then you should end up with a line, a straight line. Okay? All right.